The following program is rated TV MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, violence, and nudity. It is intended only for mature audiences.
You're now tuned into a Planet Fanatics production.
So, most recently, there was a scoop from, I forget who it was from. Was it Dan? I forget who the scoop was from exactly. Oh, Alex Perez over at the Cosmic Circus during his Q&A. I forget. My apologies. So he did a Q&A, as we've been talking about on that Q&A. He talked about several different shows, several different properties, several different things, and one of those was Black Panther. And he got asked, what was going to be going on with it. Alex posted as a scoop that Shuri will pass the Black Panther mantle down to young T'Challa. Shuri, along with Nakia and Okoye, will raise him to be the next ruler of Wakanda. Now, that has had a lot of people split on Twitter. There have been a lot of people saying, she just got the mantle, let her hold it, blah, 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 blah. She just got this. My argument's not coming from that point. I don't give a fuck about her just getting the mantle. I don't give a fuck, none of that. My point is this. We are continuing these tropes. We are continuing to tell these black stories and black trauma. Why the fuck? They did it with Monica by not putting Frank Rambeau in the picture. You had a single mother in Maria raising Monica. So we saw the broken black household there. Not really discussed, of course, not their movie, Captain Marvel's movie, but I noticed it. We saw more broken blackness in whatever, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We saw more broken black households there. When Sam couldn't go get a bank loan, you saw his single sister, dad's nowhere to be found. You get the argument between Sam and Bucky in the street to where you got the police coming up to Sam talking about, who are you? It's the black, we're playing on the black traumas and the black this. And I get it for black, I get it. I got some of that. Like, I actually do like that scene with Sam and Bucky with the police and Captain America or whatever. What is that show? Falcon and Winter Soldier. I'm sorry, I don't like that show. And Falcon and Winter Soldier. I get that scene because it plays on themes that were pre-established in that show. And not only that, you had a lot of black writers working on Falcon and Winter Soldier. Falcon and Winter Soldier was a lot different show before COVID. It got recrafted. So I do get some of those scenes, but we still saw broken black households in Falcon and Winter Soldier. But then you move on to Wakanda Forever. We saw that in Wakanda Forever when you killed T'Challa, then you killed the Queen Mother, then, you've got a secret son being raised by his mother. It's playing once again on all the tropes. I don't know why we have to play on these tropes and why black trauma. I think why we feel that has to be the selling point of a film. But again, I've said this before, when I go watch a Marvel film, when I go sit down in a Marvel movie, it is to suspend belief. It is for me to go in there and see things that I'm not watching in my everyday life, that I'm not seeing. So that when you hear that Okoye and Nakia and Shuri are going to be the three raising this boy, it just, again, plays into more tropes. And that's a grain of salt. We don't know if this shit is even real. We don't know if this is going to be the film. But as I've said from day one, I don't know why Marvel just wouldn't. And even with the scoop that I received, with the video that we put out that gave me hope, I'm still saying, until Marvel comes out and says it themselves, I don't know why this would not be the story. I don't know why this wouldn't be. And the reason I say that, not to rain on parades, but just because it simply, from the Marvel standpoint, makes sense. Now, yeah, I can go back to the whole, I have that same argument. Well, T'Challa sells, maybe Bob Iger understands that, maybe he doesn't, I don't know. But just from the storytelling aspect of where they currently are, if Ryan Coogler is still attached to everything Black Panther, if he is going to be the one directing Black Panther 3, if he's going to be the one writing Black Panther 3, then why would he not just pick up the story where he left off? And now you could say, well, Marvel Studios could tell him we're moving a different direction. And yeah, they could. They could tell him that. Do I see them doing that? No, I do not. And again, until Marvel comes out and tells me different, or I see some type of different moves from Marvel, that is going to be my stance on it. I can give, some semblances of hope and yeah, I'm still on the recast train and this and that. But as I've said many times before, I'm a very pragmatic person. I look at things as they are. And as I'm looking at this as it is, Marvel has not given you, nor myself, or anybody else in this camp, any indication that they give a flying shit about recasting T'Challa, or anything like that. And again, the scoop that I even got, we don't know that. We don't know that. Just even with this, we don't know that this is real. But I'm more inclined to believe this than I am to believe that, oh, they're about to bring in this person and that person, because they've not They've doubled down, they've tripled down, they've quadrupled down on the fact that, hey, we really are not recasting this character. They've even given you the most recent disrespect with X-Men 97, with people trying to tell you, well, that's not the same continuity. That's a completely different, that's a completely different universe. While telling you this with Jubilee and goddamn Sunspot running around and as if T'Chaka would be pierced. So the disrespect is already there. And I know a lot of people are looking forward to the 1943 game. That's great for all you game heads out there. So this really doesn't even bother me to that much, because I don't play video games, but it bothers me to the point, again, different timelines, so it really doesn't matter because you are doing something that was before T'Challa. But again, why are we still doing all these Black Panther projects without T'Challa? I mentioned this too. I don't follow video games unless it's something that I really, really enjoy. I don't follow this Black Panther video game, that solo Panther video game that's supposed to be coming out, where you don't know if you're playing as T'Challa or you're playing as a mantle passed down or whoever the fuck. But again, why is it that the Iron Man video game is announced and you know you're playing as Tony Stark? Why is it that the Spider-Man game is announced and you know you're playing as Peter Parker? The Wolverine video game that's coming out, and you know you're playing as Logan. But the Black Panther video game gets announced, and you're like, well, pause. We're not using T'Challa's name. We don't know who you're playing. It's the loops and hoops and the mental gymnastics like that are really irritating. Now, it's one thing to keep him out of live action. We have our issues with that. But it's another thing when, again, you are doing all these curbs to just dismiss the character. One of the things that I've said, and many others have said in this conversation, this layered conversation that is Recast T'Challa, is for these other countries and things and other communities outside of the Black community to see us differently than we are normally portrayed or than we are normally looked at in real life society. And with that being said, I'll take you to conversations we've had before, the China posters, or whatever, with T'Challa's face covered. You take you over to Star Wars poster with Finn being shrunk down and things like that, blah, blah, blah. It's important for these countries to not, in communities, and I'm talking communities even within the United States, as far as the white community, all these communities, to see us as not the absent father, as we always are in the films. Why do we have to play on that trope? Why do we have to give more attention to that? Why do we have to let communities see, those Black dads, they do run. Not every Black dad is not in the picture. No, there are a lot of Black dads that are strong Black fathers that are in the picture. We talked about in the Thursday streams that I do with Chill and Marcus, we talked about strong Black dads and how you don't really even see that anymore. You don't see strong Black TV shows like you used to, like Moesha, Smart Guy, Family Matters, The Cosby Show, like shows like 227. You've got The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, all those, those nuclear shows where we had the father, the mother. The Black family was a core. The Black family wasn't divided and split up. But now you're hard pressed to find that in TV shows, especially damn sure in the MCU, as I gave you 2 examples already. You got Monica Rambeau's father, gone. You've got T'Challa, gone. His son is being raised by a single mother. His grandmother, dead. You've got Falcon's sister raising 2 Black, so those themes are already there. So that's the absentee father one. You've got the thug stuff. Why do we need to be seen as the thug, as the villain, as the person, the antagonist all the time? That was the reason that this character in this place of Wakanda was created in Marvel Comics from the beginning. I don't need to give you the rundown, but to give you a little TLDR on that, it was for that representation aspect. It was for that whole theme to be able to look up and say, I see myself. That's a place that, what could Black folks could have been if not colonized? That was Wakanda. So we need to be seeing that more. And I'm not saying that Wakanda doesn't have its issues in the comics, but it is a euphoria. It's a utopia. It's something that, it's dreamt about. So we should be seeing those themes in the Black Panther franchise instead of broken Black families and broken Black homes. Because the entire, as was mentioned in the comments earlier, outside of Shuri, T'Challa's bloodline is gone in the MCU. The bloodline is gone in the MCU. His father's dead. He's dead. His mother's dead. There's a lot of uncertainty around, at least for us as fans. We don't know. We don't have spies in these rooms. We're not flies on the walls. There's a lot of uncertainty when it comes to the Black Panther 3 franchise. And obviously the biggest uncertainty is the absence of T'Challa once again. I'm trying to see something else that he said here. This one was asked here. They said, "What's the plan for Shuri in the MCU?" And this is the long answer that he gave. He said, "So here's an interesting bit. Shuri is still taking time for herself, as she is not interested in the slightest in being Queen of Wakanda. She is still keeping the mantle of Black Panther, but I am hearing that she will eventually pass the mantle to the one true successor of the throne of Wakanda, the young Prince T'Challa, son of King T'Challa. It is my understanding that she, along with Okoye and Nakia, are raising this child so he can eventually take the mantle and become the next ruler of Wakanda and Black Panther." This person said, "Are there any plans for recasting T'Challa and bringing him back into the MCU?" To where Alex said no, just firmly no. But again, not saying that Alex knows. Alex, we don't know. Grain of salt. But the story they have planned with his son is absolutely lovely, and I quite frankly would love to see it unfold as they have planned. We've talked about this. We've said this before. That shit's going to fail. If you try to do something, if you continue to try to make this franchise thrive without the franchise's main character, or the anchor that has kept people to this franchise, the anchor that even birthed this franchise, if you take that anchor away, you then take away any interest that 90% of the viewers have. And again, that conversation goes back to the wake up that everybody's been having on Twitter. I've seen so many people saying, "I don't know that maybe they just should have recast it. I don't know that this is the way that they should go. They need to do this. They need to do that." There's been a lot of conversation surrounding this. This is also too what they said for everybody talking about, Black Panther 3 as far as like believing this, because there were some people hard pressed on like, well, Alex's scoops are some of the best scoops. He knows what he's talking about. Well, Alex is great for what he does, but we have to remember is Alex is the Cosmic Circus. He's not Variety. He's not Forbes. He's not the Hollywood Reporter. They are not credible trades like that. So the Hollywood Reporter, who is a very credible trade, came out and said, Marvel Studios has not officially greenlit Black Panther 3. And again, that takes us back to that Bob Iger conversation. Putting the emphasis on characters of importance here and blah, 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 blah. So maybe he is looking at it from, that money standpoint, the business standpoint, put him back in the fold here because this character sells. Maybe that's why Black Panther 3 has not been greenlit yet for Marvel Studios. Or some people could say, well, no, it just hasn't been greenlit yet because it's way too early for it to be greenlit. I disagree. I would disagree. And the reason I would disagree, because again, as I said, this place, and we've seen the MCU tell their versions of these comic stories. Civil War in the MCU is nothing like Civil War in comics. But as I said, this person, that character in this place, Wakanda, play important roles in the story moving forward that you're trying to tell with Secret Wars. So I would say no, not too far off for them to greenlight. So yeah, those are just some of my thoughts there on some of the scoops coming out for Black Panther 3 from Alex over at the Cosmic Circus. And again, grain of salt. But do I truly believe that is the route that they would go? Yes. Do I believe that's the route that they would go before pulling in a multiversal T'Challa and having that T'Challa be the mainstay T'Challa? Yes. Of course. Because they put so much into it. They told a story. Hell, for the entire promotion of Wakanda Forever, they doubled down and tripled down on why it was so important that they, Toussaint, all that shit. So I don't. I think that this is the story. I think that this is more realistic than the scoops or whatever else about bringing in a multiversal variant. Do I still think you may see a multiversal variant? Of course. Secret Wars. Supposed to see a lot of different variants of different characters and this and that, and T'Challa, I'm sure, is going to be one of them. But he's going to be dangled in your face, and he's going to be taken away after all the Secret War and everything is put back to normal and whatever. And you're going to be left with Toussaint. And Toussaint is going to be the stories, or carry rather, the stories forward in the Black Panther. And I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But just looking at it pragmatically, where Marvel currently is, the stories they currently are wanting to tell, if Letitia Wright has had conversations with the MCU and Marvel Studios about the future of the Black Panther, obviously she has, I'm sure, sat down with them and talked about things that she's going to do as the current Black Panther in the MCU and other projects like Secret Wars, Avengers, at one point Brave New World when she was rumored to show up there, all that stuff. So I'm sure in between that, I'm sure maybe they've discussed Black Panther 3. Hell, maybe she's discussed with Ryan. Maybe they've talked about what they want. I don't know. But I'm telling you, I'm inclined to believe that more. But the question is for you guys. Let me know down below what you guys are thinking about the newest. I saw a lot of you guys' thoughts previously on Twitter, but let me know what you guys are thinking about the newest scoop from the Cosmic Circus about what's going on with Black Panther and Shuri being the one with Okoye and Nakia to single-handedly raise this son, this new king of Wakanda, this ruler without his father by his side. And I do want to say one more thing too. There were a lot of people that were saying that, T'Challa grows up in the MC or grows up in comics without his father, and it was his mother and the females that wrong. Stop spreading misinformation when it comes to this character. He was not only raised by his mother and some of those, he was also raised by his uncle. It was a collective group there that helped to raise that strong black male. It wasn't so there. It took a village, but it was not just the females in his life. So when you go and say, well, it's just like it's just like in the comics with T'Challa, you're wrong. You're wrong. Stop spreading misinformation. But again, let me know what you guys are thinking about this and all things Black Panther related with BP3, Shuri raising this child, and anything else down below.